THiNK campaign is a project that empowers students to identify and prevent the spread of misinformation by increasing critical thinking and open-mindedness skills. THiNK stands for Talk, Hear, Infer, Note, Know. The THiNK campaign is based around a 5-day curriculum that is intended to be implemented by teachers in their classrooms. It also includes an original video game titled Reporter Zero, a resources page for those who need assistance, and a feedback form. In terms of our findings in analyzing our target audience, we had pleasing results. The students' confidence in their own ability to analyze sources increased 20%, specifically from 50% pre-curriculum to 70% post-curriculum. Our curriculum was implemented into Frontier Regional High School in South Deerfield, Massachusetts, and we are in communications with other school systems. Individuals from all over the globe have visited our website and checked out our social media. Our team chose to focus on misinformation because of its increased prevalence in the media and what violence it has led to in some occasions. The problem being addressed is that individuals and organizations alike are purposefully and accidentally spreading dis and misinformation into the media sphere in order to gain following and cause debate. Our mission is to provide the tools needed for students to make up their own minds about what they believe and avoid a potentially violent future.
The THiNK campaign targeted at-risk youth ages 14 to 16. We decided that this was an appropriate target audience because 95% of this target audience has access to smartphones, and one of the primary uses of the smartphones is to learn new information. Furthermore, 83% of this target audience reported spending 4 hours or more daily on the internet, frequently using Instagram and other social media sites along with YouTube. After conducting research, we discovered that many male individuals radicalized into white supremacist movement were between the ages of 14 and 30. Since this age group spends much of their time on their smartphones, we chose to provide them with the tools they need to intercept harmful misinformation prior to potential radicalization.
We incorporated our preliminary research into every aspect of our campaign. I made it our goal to create a campaign that truly engages with at-risk youth. We found a large portion of teens are genuinely concerned about misinformation or have admitted they do not feel confident identifying misinformation. We also found a large portion of avid video game players which fit our target market. 97% of teen boys and 83% of teen girls play video games. We knew we wanted to incorporate a video game into our campaign to better relate to our demographic. However, we wanted to create a game that facilitates positivity and critical thinking. This is what led to the creation of Reporter Zero. Our goal was also to provide youth with resources and education on misinformation. Based off our preliminary research, we knew we would have to find a way to keep students engaged, as many survey participants seemed to indicate they struggle to be engaged in the classroom. Our easy-to-use and aesthetically pleasing website, engaging curriculum with activities and videos, and our video game Reporter Zero all contribute to keeping students engaged and learning.
So this is the homepage for our website. Here we have the words for our acronym THiNK, and if you scroll down, there's a short introduction video and a description of our mission to combat misinformation. We also have our value proposition describing what students will gain from participating. This is our About THiNK page. It talks about our team as well as our reasons for creating a curriculum about misinformation. Here's where we link each organization involved in Invent to Prevent and a picture of our entire team. If you click this box to view our lesson plan, it'll take you to our curriculum page. Here we have our pre-curriculum survey. This is meant to provide a baseline to students about how much they know and care about misinformation. It's a combination of some short answer, multiple choice, and demographic questions. Day 1 consists of important concepts for students to know before delving deeper into misinformation. The purpose of this day is to equip students with terms that will help them understand misinformation and the mental processes that cause us to believe it. Students learn about topics such as confirmation bias, the illusory truth effect, and focalism. The video introduces the terms and concepts, and the worksheets and discussion questions help students apply them to instances of misinformation they've seen. Even better, an understanding of these terms will help students avoid falling prey to these biases as best they can. Next, we have Day 2, which is the first part of our fact-checking and critical thinking section for the curriculum. This section consists of information about the spread of misinformation, how to check for it. One strategy we suggest for checking for misinformation is the CRAP test, which stands for Currency, Relevance, Authority, Accuracy, and Purpose. By completing this section, students gain more skills in checking pieces of information for credibility. They apply fact-checking skills to news articles, social media posts, and more. For the second part of our fact-checking and critical thinking section, Day 3 involves dealing with misinformation in everyday life. Not only is misinformation spread on the internet, it can be spread in conversations. This day provides strategies for talking to a loved one about misinformation. Students will learn the do's and don'ts of speaking to friends who spread misinformation and a step-by-step guide to speaking to adults. This next section is about open-mindedness. It begins on day 4 with content about prejudice. Racism can tie into misinformation in various ways, such as stereotypes and generalizations. Having generalization can lead to violence targeted towards certain ethnic groups, so it's important for students to learn about prejudice and how to decrease it. Day 5 consists of general tips about open-mindedness. One of the concepts discussed is reframing, which helps us think outside of our own experiences and be less judgmental. The biggest takeaway from this day is thinking more critically before simply jumping to judgments about someone, whether that be another person or yourself. One of the activities students do to practice reframing is writing statements they think about themselves and wording them differently. After the 5 days are completed, the students will fill out the post-curriculum survey to see how they progressed. They can compare their answers to the pre-curriculum survey to check for improvement in their knowledge and concern about misinformation. The next part of our website is our resources page, which includes links to sites about mental health, fact-checking, and open-mindedness. This page is meant to act as a place for students to learn more if they're particularly interested in a topic or if they're simply looking for support. We also list our own sources that we use to create this campaign. We used multiple sources of information to create our videos, worksheets, and premise for the entire campaign. Here we have our game, Reporter Zero. The player is an investigative journalist in Chicago, where a story is broken that people have been getting sick as a result of a chemical spill. The player's job is to go through each source to determine whether that story is true or not. The sources include articles online, interviews, and social media. Each source has various perspectives, and it's up to the player to determine which are legitimate and which are not. After investigating, it's time to write the story. The player can choose which information to include in order to write the most accurate article. The outcome of the story depends on the choices in this section. In order to promote the THiNK campaign, we posted on Instagram and Facebook. We wanted to use Instagram to introduce our campaign to students and encourage them to look further. Our content is visually interesting and informative to capture students' attention and teach them about misinformation. Another tactic we used for promotion was Facebook advertising. With a budget of $50 a day for each campaign, we ran digital advertisements targeting educators, since they're more likely to be active on Facebook. Each ad links to our website and has a graphic and text to grab attention.
In order to measure the effectiveness of the campaign, the curriculum began and ended with a survey that contained many of the same questions for easy comparison. We measured openness to new ideas and changes in awareness, motivation to act, and skills for identifying misinformation. We found that awareness and the belief of personal responsibility to prevent the spread of misinformation increased, while the belief that fake news doesn't affect me decreased. Helping students to understand the role they play in preventing the spread of misinformation is so important, and we found that 84% of students reported they had sometimes or actively tried to avoid spreading misinformation, which increased to 100% post-curriculum. Actual skills in recognizing misinformation also increased. More students correctly identified gossip as misinformation, correctly recognized that news networks sometimes publish incorrect information, and when put to the test, more students correctly categorized a headline as true or fake post-curriculum. We got highly positive feedback from our curriculum and received student responses that really showed what they learned. Together, these results indicate that our campaign has effectively provided new insights and tools regarding students' approach to misinformation. Students are effectively learning more about what constitutes misinformation and how to combat. And the most important thing is the 20% increase in students' confidence in their own ability to analyze sources and identify misinformation in the future.
We allocated money to the development of our website, the creation of our interactive video game and animated educational videos, and the promotion of our campaign across social media sites utilizing incentives. In total, we spent $1,314.64 out of our $2,000 budget. Towards the beginning of our project, we planned to spend the majority of our budget on the creation of our video game. However, we were able to program the video game ourselves with little assistance. Since we created the video game in-house, we did not utilize our entire budget. Our budget allowed our team to promote our campaign across social media sites, such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We spent $135 for Facebook ads over the course of 2 days. The THiNK campaign spent $1.37 per resulting action, actions being link clicks or landing page views on Facebook ads, and overall generated 100,000 impressions across all media channels for an ROI of approximately 78 impressions per dollar spent. The THiNK campaign gained 53 Instagram followers, 219 unique website visitors, and the completion of the curriculum by 44 students.
Now to talk a bit about the scalability of the THiNK campaign. We believe the THiNK campaign has potential to be a real large-scale campaign among teens and young adults in America, similar to the Truth campaign that advocates against smoking and vaping among young adults.
Overall, we believe the success of our campaign can be attributed to the digital nature of our campaign and how it can function as long as you have a computer. Our one-stop shop website provides all of our resources, video game, curriculum, along with other information about the THiNK campaign in one easy-to-use space. And beyond that, each of those individual parts can be used individually. So our curriculum can be taught just as our curriculum, and teachers can incorporate other videos, games, and other elements into their curriculum, or they can choose to use ours. And the same goes for the rest of the campaign. The video game can be standalone, it can be played by itself. Overall, we've seen really good numbers given the time and resources we've had since we've launched our campaign. Our website's been visited by over 100 people, our video game's been played by over 70 people, and our lesson plan has been taught to 40 students. Now to talk a bit about the future and what we believe the THiNK campaign is capable of being. We believe the THiNK campaign has real potential due to the versatility of it and how it goes way beyond just our targeted demographic and way beyond just one element of our campaign. Although our target market is teens and youth of America, it is in a format that is easy to learn whether you're 10 years old or you're 60 years old. And I believe anybody can benefit from this, which makes it extremely versatile and with potential for being large scale. Given more time and resources, one of our biggest focus would be elaborating on Reporter Zero, as we always had really big plans for this video game. We'd want to add more levels, more characters, more challenges, and more scenarios. Another major part we want to incorporate is teamwork and allowing students and players to work in teams in order to better facilitate community, working together, and being a part of something bigger than just yourself. Beyond that, we'd also elaborate on our curriculum, further develop it, and work on compiling more resources.